Good evening. Tonight I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about elder abuse, some of the signs and symptoms you can look for in your loved ones, and then some of the different types of abuse that happen throughout healthcare and just in personal lives, and then also what to do if you ever come across. One of the biggest things in healthcare that gets overlooked a lot is abuse in the geriatric community. It happens more often than somebody would think. It's disgusting in my opinion, but it's our job as workers and people who are around these individuals to just kind of keep an eye on them and do what's in the best interest of them, and then help them if we notice anything that's different. A few different types of abuse would be physical abuse, which is bodily harm; emotional abuse, which is psychological abuse, which basically is yelling at somebody, calling them names, being negative to them, and just affecting their mentality. Neglect is a big one. Not responding to somebody's needs. Sometimes this happens and we're not even aware that it's happening, but it happens. So a lot of times if you do notice it happening, you just fix it and go on and try not to let it happen again. Abandonment is leaving somebody alone without planning for their care. It's just that one you don't see too often. Sexual abuse is unwanted sexual acts. And then financial abuse is taking advantage of somebody's finances or spending their money without their knowledge or permission. And then healthcare fraud, and that would just be more along the lines of insurance, basically charging for stuff that you didn't actually do. The people who are most susceptible to abuse would be older women. It seems to be more common. They just are the target. These are people without family and friends, people with disabilities. They're actually the biggest targets. Usually people who can't talk. What to look for? It's actually very easy to see somebody who's being abused. There's certain signs that you can look for. They'll be withdrawn. Somebody who's usually happy can be depressed, sad, confused, agitated. They're just not acting like themselves. Another big one is they show signs of trauma. A lot of people will show signs of PTSD, whether that's shaking, just wanting to be secluded, not being involved in activities. And then the last thing is unexplained bruising or injury. That's one of the reasons we do monitor, our patients for bruising and injury. Anytime there's something that's unknown of where it's from, we usually do a full-on investigation, just to rule out abuse, because a lot of times it can happen and you're not even aware of it. So it's just very important to always rule that out. What to do if you think or you suspect that somebody is being abused? Talk to that person. Ask them. Sometimes they'll tell you, yes, I am, no, I'm not. As a nurse, I go to the patient first and I talk to them. They're usually pretty open if they trust you. It just depends on their trust. If they're not trusting of anybody, because the abuse has been on for so long, then me as a nurse, I would go to my supervisor. If I was just a bystander witnessing it, I would go to probably the police or, the administrator of the building. If they're not in a home or a facility, then definitely go to the police and report it. My biggest thing I want you guys to leave with, though, is if you do witness somebody who is being abused or you think they're being abused, please don't hesitate to report it. It could actually save somebody's life.